ball like that since freshman year of high school, except for senior year of high school, except for my freshman year up at Michigan State having that touchdown run. Yeah, it made me a little more confident being able to run in that type of atmosphere and environment. Yeah, I don't know if I'll do it more, but I'll be open to it.
But the irony is, on a lot of I know you don't pay attention to it, but a lot of the weight or the sports books or whatever who had moved Hendon Hooker ahead of you, a week ago in the Heisman race. Now you're back ahead of him, and you ran for more yards than you threw. What does that just tell you about the whole state of affairs of how people eyeball you from the standpoint of winning's everything, right?
100%. I think Hendon is a great quarterback. I'm actually a fan of his, just what he's been able to do this season and these past couple years. I think he's been very consistent. So, kudos to him, man. I think he's a great Q, great Tennessee team who I think will eventually keep playing good ball. So, yeah, I don't really look at stuff like that, but I think this is a week for us to kind of get our groove back, throwing the ball, even affecting the run game some more, trying to just clean some reads up to where that we can make it more clean, get some more yards, and be better on first and second. And then, of course, we got to be better on third down. So looking forward to kind of playing against Indiana this week. Nah, I don't know. We'll see.
CJ, Mecca's kind of beat himself up a little bit for the drops in each of the last 2 games. I know he's come in and got some extra work and all that. But what's your role when a receiver is not happy and maybe not holding up that end of the deal for you?
I tell them, man, I get mad at them for getting down on themselves. That's the only, honestly, it's football. Mistakes happen. I make mistakes on a daily basis on a play that I had no business messing up on. So, I think I've been telling a lot of our players this lately, just because later on in the year you kind of get human nature kicks in to where you feel like, not that you suck, but like it's just like, man, why can't I get it right yet? Just because it's week 10 and your body's already beat down a little bit, so you're trying to really get through it, but you're still trying to be efficient and definitely be more effective. So I understand where it comes from. I get down on myself even, but I always remember I think Michael Jordan said this where he missed 26 shots of game winners, but made many more. So it's like, as long as you're up there at bat, giving it your all, then that's the only thing I can be really, really happy with. So I just tell them, man, move on. Great players know how to just move on to the next play and to keep going, because, I make mistakes myself. So.
CJ, could you tell that even Coach Day was reluctant to go away from the pass last week because you guys are so good at it? It's so much. Y'all still threw, 26 passes or something crazy in that weather and stuff. Could you tell he was even having a little bit of a debate in his mind about, hey, where do we go here?
Right. Yeah, it's tough being a play caller in that aspect, in that type of environment with just the weather. So I definitely think that he did a great job of getting us good runs and good plays that our O-line and running backs like to run, and then involving me as well. So we came up with some stuff on the sideline to get me involved, and then, of course, some of the passes that we threw were to kind of make sure the weather wasn't the issue. And even it was good for even him to call a shot and trust me and try to get it in there. So, and I think we did a good job with that play, but of course we didn't make it happen, which is okay. And we'll just continue to grow from it. So.
CJ, you mentioned on that 4th and 1 run that you had about how the nickel was crashing down. Like, he didn't really respect you running the ball there at all. I'm just curious if you think, even if you don't run more, do teams respecting you running the ball more, does that open things up for this offense?
Yeah, it definitely could. But on that specific play, he took the running back, but I think the safety messed up. Number 9, I think he was supposed to come and capture me, but his eyes were in the backfield. So a lot of teams do that where they'll take away the back. We call it gap exchange. So they'll take away the back, and then either the backer or the safety will loop around, and he'll be the quarterback player. And I think maybe if he was out there, I could have put a move on him or run by him or try. But yeah, it was an instinctive play. I think it was a big time play in the game just to get us a touchdown later on in that drive. So I'll tell Coach I'm willing to do anything to get a win. So it's good just to kind of put that on film, and definitely I think we can build from it.
As far as the method goes, from your eyes, what do you think is allowed? What is his best trait as a receiver that's allowed him to kind of build a connection with you his first year starting?
Yeah, I think really how smart he is. I think he's very intelligent. He knows leverage. He knows kind of what takes it away, what gives him leverage, what defense are trying to do to him, if they're trying to bracket him, or if they're trying to be outside leverage, take away a fade, whatever the case may be. Mecca's really smart by depicting what's really out there in coverage. And then, of course, he's a great route runner. He's very crisp. Something I think he worked on the offseason is just his speed, and I definitely think that he checked that off his list of being able to be a dynamic deep ball runner, and I definitely think he's done that. So excited to see him continue to grow. I know he's kind of battling through some bodily issues like all of us, so I'm super proud of him for just practicing hard and keep going.
When could you tell that he was a smart route runner in terms of identifying coverages?
He had that ability coming in early. I think his 7-on-7 days. Used to watch him. I know that he was the number one receiver in his class, I believe so. And I remember watching him and be like, okay, yeah, he knows what he's going against, because you can just kind of tell as a quarterback if your receiver knows what he's doing or not, at least in my book. So and then he came in early in road and was dynamic already, which you have to be really smart to be able to do that.
So you talked about lifting what are you saying to your offensive line? That sometimes you guys are beginning to run it the way you want to. Are you leading those conversations, trying to just encourage your offensive line, or is it a Luke thing or Paris? Like, who's the head of those conversations, and what do you say to those guys?
Yeah, I mean, I just try to give confidence, because it's no, especially as a quarterback, it's a time and place for everything, and I definitely think yelling doesn't really help. So unless it's kind of necessary, which I don't think we've had that yet this season. So really, it's I think I'm the leader of the offense, of course, behind Coach Day, and then Luke, of course, is definitely the person in the building, but I'm in the room to kind of get them going. But honestly, it's been DeJuan a lot, and it's also been Paris, who've kind of been the ones who've been hard on themselves and kind of just been on everybody's tail about, man, we got to get this run game going. So, of course, I'm in there as well trying to get it right, and I definitely think if I'm able to kind of help with running with myself, then it'll definitely open up, and you can't put an extra player in the box. So I think it's a collective unit to where we're holding each other accountable, which is a great thing, and then I think we'll get it done by just execution.
CJ, maybe you were already asked this. If you were, I apologize, but what have the last couple of weeks you think shown you guys as a team, as far as your resolve is concerned, and even you as an individual?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing about this team that I think is special is how resilient we are, and honestly, we don't really listen to the outside noise. I think that's something that's very important for a team, is to not really focus on what everybody's saying, or I know a lot of people talk about the point spread or whatever the case may be, but a lot of people don't really look at like I would say it's common sense, to where you're not gonna put 1,000 points on the board with 80-mile-per-hour winds. So, but yeah, we don't really listen to all that stuff. We kind of just focus on each other. We do it for our brother, and we always say that before we go out. It's just I'm doing everything. I put my body on the line, put my heart on the line, my head, whatever the case may be, just for my brother. So.
And do you think, I mean, the last couple of weeks have really made you guys grow, just as far as, hey, sometimes there are going to be these adversities we got to face, we got to be able to overcome them? Have they strengthened you guys, in that way as well?
Yeah, I definitely think that any game or any atmosphere where you're in a game atmosphere is definitely something you can learn from, if it's good, bad, ugly, sad. So, and nothing is ever going to be perfect. So I'm really trying to help our team with not having any expectations, really special personal ones, just because I think if we reach our team goals, all our personal goals will be accomplished.
CJ, when you ran the ball against Northwestern, how many of those were designed run plays, and how often were you improvising?
It was probably a handful of them were improvised, and then a couple of them where I was just reading a defender, and it was my responsibility to read a gap or read a specific person. So, yeah, it could vary. It doesn't matter. I mean, either it could be like a pass play where I scramble, or it can be a design run to where I'm just keying one defender or two defenders. It could vary.
CJ, I know you always knew you could run, but then being able to see it in practice is another thing. Are you more comfortable taking off now, do you think, after seeing what you did against Northwestern?
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, I feel like definitely being able to go out there and find a way to win. I think that's most important, especially playing quarterback. Is like it's not always in your control. You can always be perfect. So it's finding a way to win, no matter if it's ugly or cute. So it doesn't really matter. And I definitely think it gave me more confidence to be able to go out there and run some more. But I'm gonna continue to do whatever's necessary just to win. So if that's running the ball, throwing it, whatever the case may be. So, but yeah, it definitely did give me more confidence.
CJ, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
CJ.
God bless.